Intention is a project where we believe that tattoos can heal. We can transform trauma into empowerment, and we can give more than what we receive.
This project came about when Fortunato and I were talking about how we can use tattoo to transform people's lives. We've seen in our career how tattoos can change people. So we just took that basic idea and decided to see, well, what can we do to transform this world? And that's how Inktentions was born. For the very first episode, we chose domestic abuse. It's a topic that we felt is very predominant in our culture, even though it's not spoken about. We felt it was really important to choose candidates that had already gone through their trauma, that were in a point where they have healed and were ready for the final step. Because in many ways, this tattoo is the part that was the last part of closure for them. Which is why we chose Keira and Erica.
My name is Keira Mendez. I'm a sub-teacher from 3K to 5th grade in a Brooklyn school, and a mother of 4 amazing daughters. I was married for 16 years at that moment. Everything started coming out not too well and started turning emotional violence against me and physical to my daughter. I decided to stop that relationship. He didn't want to. Everything started getting worse and worse and worse. I didn't have my family, I didn't have support here. It got to one point that he put part of his family against me, and I couldn't hold it no more. And I was so scared because everybody was looking at me all the time. All the time. If I go down the stairs, it was people looking in the windows to see where I'm going. It was telling her what time I was going out, what time I was coming back. It was always emotion after emotion. Everything went worse with my daughter. And I've been telling her, I want to move. I don't want to be with you no more. No, you can do that. I'm going to tell everybody what you're doing. I'm going to take my daughters away. I'm going to talk to everybody that you're a bad mother. I'm going to put you by the floor. I'm like, okay, do whatever you want to do. I know I'm not like that. Always, I was telling my daughter, my oldest one, grab your stuff, we're leaving. I don't know where because we didn't have nowhere to go. But I said, we're leaving. I did that like 2 or 3 times. And the last time I told her, oh, pack up, we're leaving. She's like, no, I'm not gonna pack because you always make me pack and we're not leaving nowhere. And that hit me to the worst in my heart. And I'm like, okay, I know what I have to do. I went to the hospital. I was talking to the psychologist that she was speaking to her at that time. And she said, if you want, I can give you the number that you can call domestic violence, because even if he didn't hit you, he's doing emotional with you guys. And I remember this lady telling me everything what was going on is a negligent. If you don't be at this address tomorrow, that was at that time, at 11 o'clock, I'm gonna take your kids away because you're not doing what you're supposed to. I said, no, I'm not gonna lose my kids. This is the best part of my life. That's exactly what I did. It was raining. As soon as he left to work at 5:30 in the morning, I grabbed what I can from my daughters. I left my stuff. I just left with what I have on. I drove really quick. I left some stuff in my own house. The whole time they were watching by the window. And then I grabbed my stuff, I left. I drove to the address they give me. And I remember when they gave me the key to open the apartment, my daughter was telling me, thank you. I said, why are you asking me? Why are you telling me thank you? And she said, thank you for taking me out from there. Now you did what you're supposed to. And then from there, we started our life. I went back to college to finish my bachelor's. I won a scholarship from Help USA. That was the program that was helping us at that time for domestic violence. One day I have like a final exam and I like, what I'm gonna do? I have to take care of the kids. And I remember my teacher telling me, it's okay, you can grab her, take your test. And then she was falling asleep and I was doing the test. I remember that moment. Then after that, I was telling my professor, oh, I don't have enough money to buy my supplies. And he's like, I'm gonna make a bet on you. I'm gonna buy you books. If you pass the classes and graduate, you don't have to pay me nothing. But if you fail, you have to pay me that money. I said, okay, deal. That's exactly what I did. I know sometimes we have storms, but it's always a rainbow after.
She wrote me 2 years ago asking for her daughter's portrait, and we didn't continue with that chat. And when when we decided to have her in this episode, I realized that we already have a chat for the same tattoo. That was like, okay, this has to be like this. This is something that we have to do together. And I think, and I know that she chose me. I didn't choose her, she chose me.
My name is Erica Lamatola. I am 24 years old and I'm from Howell, New Jersey. When I was around 22, I met somebody. We fell deeply in love and I moved in with them, changed my whole life for them, and everything was great until it wasn't. Slowly, the relationship became more toxic, more abusive, until I realized I had lost everything that was me, including my friends, my family, my hobbies, my passions. It was slow, emotional abuse and mental abuse and manipulating things to make me think that she was my idol, that she was the only person I could trust, the only person I could have. And because it took so long of her doing that to me mentally, then it was easier for it to become physical. And I was so pulled away by all of my friends and family, and I only trusted in her, that I thought that this was the best decision and this was the only decision I could make for myself, was to stay in that relationship even when it became physical. When I realized that 2 of my 3 older sisters were pregnant and my best friend was pregnant, and I was missing all of these monumental moments in my life, I realized that I had never felt so alone and so far from the things that made me me. And I realized I needed to get out. But when you're with a person who is abusive like that, you can't leave immediately. It's unsafe to leave immediately. So I had spoken to a lot of people, spoken to my mom, spoken to people in the hospital, doctors, and I decided that if I was going to leave, it was going to be a slow process, and it did. It took months until I finally had an opportunity to get my things, get the ability, get the self-confidence to leave, make sure I had a place to go, that my family was still going to accept me, and finally I was able to leave. I realized I was so brave. There were so many people against me. She would be mad, her friends would be mad, our family that we had created would be upset, and I had to look past all of those things and be scared and leave. And that was the bravest thing I ever could have done. If you don't feel like your best self when you're with somebody and they just put you down, then you're not in a good situation.
Erica's really stood out to us, and her story was really incredible, and one of the things that was the most impactful for me was just how young she was. You know, usually we imagine domestic abuse and we sort of have a stereotype of what that looks like, right? There's usually a certain age group that we associate with, and usually it's always male versus female. I was so surprised that somebody that young could be in such an abusive relationship. For me, it was important to tell her story because it was important to show that domestic abuse can look differently.
100%, I believe that Koral is helping me heal through this process. Tattoos for me are something that are extremely meaningful, and I usually get one to close a chapter in my life. And by Koral and Fortunato reaching out and me seeing this, I almost felt as though it was a sign that this is it. I can finally have some closure in my life. And then once I started speaking to Koral, She was so understanding. She was so sweet. She reassured me that me doing this is a good thing and that they are here to tell my story. Why a dragon? They're actually a symbol of luck, joy, happiness, and they're kind of a symbol of coming out on top of chaos. And I feel like in my relationship, I was seen as this evil, crazy creature that was ruining everything. When in reality, I had to relearn, even though I knew it, that I am so happy and I am so joyous and I am positive and I'm bubbly and I'm awesome and I have come out on top of all of that chaos.
So the design, I worked on the design so much, I probably redrew like 8 times because I wanted it to be absolutely perfect. So when I showed it to her, I was nervous. And when Erica saw her design, she just was like, oh my God, yes, this is exactly what I wanted. This is like more than I imagined. This is like absolutely beyond, you know, what I had imagined of what I wanted. So I just felt like, okay, I figured out we're there, you know, we're on the same frequencies.
I've been obsessed with her work for years, and the fact that I'm getting a tattoo by her is the best experience of my life. When I saw the dragon, I became immediately obsessed because she made it colorful and almost as if the dragon was changing and becoming something new, which I love, and the way that it's coming out on my arm is going to be the best thing.
When we started to, you know, to put the actual stencil on and everything, and, you know, I could see that Erica was like really excited and she was just happy. I just saw that she was like in this like happy place, and I just felt like, okay, you know, this is the right thing. This what we're doing right now, this is powerful and it's important because here we're taking this experience that was negative and difficult, and we're literally turning it into somebody's happy place. And, you know, this experience will no longer be associated with these like darkness, but associated with taking power over your own body, over your own past. And I've initially, from the start of the moment that we started to put the stencil on, that's exactly how I felt. As soon as I saw her face when she looked in the mirror, I saw that right away, that this is going to be the beginning of a new life.
This tattoo accomplished and made me feel proud. It reminds me all the things we went through, the bad things, the good things. We battled this war together. And when I told him what I wanted and what was the message behind it, he's like, awesome, I love this. He had more fun than me, I think, doing the tattoo.
It was so easy to talk with her, was so easy to work with her, and the portraits that she brings us were amazing. So it was so natural, was like perfect to work with her, and have the chance to create another chapter on her history was like beautiful. I'm so thankful to have the chance to work with her.
His energy, you know, is everything. It's everything. I think it was meant to be for him to do this tattoo.
I'm really happy to work with her. She's amazing.
We would like to thank our amazing clients, Keira and Erica, for sharing their stories with us and with the world. We hope that these stories inspired you as much as they inspired us. Share this project with your friends, share it with somebody that can benefit. We're always here to listen.